following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to Crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars. He'll dress
Hey ho ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a fun show for you guys today, plus an update on our fabulous weekend in New York that we're going to do on the second part of the show, because we have a guest on the first part of the show. But before we get started, let's first say hi to our cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
We who are about to die salute you. This is, I mean, really and truly, we left Manhattan at 2 p.m. We got to Palm Springs at 3 o'clock.
3:30.
3:30 in the morning. Had 1 or 2 hours sleep. Forget about it. This is not, I can't. I don't know how I'm going to do a show today. Besides, I look old. You know, I don't look 23. I look at least 40. Anyway, I'm going to try to perk up and wake up. And oh, look at this. I look like shit. I didn't shave. They took our toothpaste away, so I didn't brush my teeth, so my breath smells. I knocked over 3 people.
Yeah, you know, you're not allowed to take toothpaste on the airplane. I didn't know that.
Because toothpaste can explode. I said, oh, really? Okay. That's interesting.
They let me take it on the way over there.
Well, the next
I like to
the next
brush
time
my
you
teeth.
brush your teeth, be careful. Your mouth might explode. But anyway, it was an adventure not to be believed. I wanted to go. No,
wait.
We're talking about it in the second half. We're not going to talk about it now.
I
We
want
have
to
a
talk
gue-
about that. We have the
we have a
chat
guest
room
coming
too.
on.
We want to say hi to the chat room. There's lots of people in here. I think Julia is in there. I think that's what that is. Backpack John. Hey, Backpack John is here. Teresa Sabin from Florida. Angela Joseph, who was at the Colorado Horror Festival of Horror or something with Lorraine Landon this weekend.
No, horror, not a whore. She was not a whore at a horror festival. A horror festival. There is no such thing as a horror festival.
Anyway, we also have Cindy Lady Lake is in the chat room. I don't know. I think I missed some people, but it went by fast, so they'll have to say stuff. Teresa Sabin. Anyway, yes, she was at the Colorado. I don't know what it's
Shut
called.
the fuck up and just sit there and smile a little bit. You know, people say I'm very mean to Jimmy. Like one woman wrote, she said, when I watched the show for the first time, I thought Ron Russell was a very mean man. I'm not mean. Jimmy and I just play. You know that, folks. Jimmy and I never fight. Well, I mean, I had to duck a few knives once in a while that he threw at me, you know, at home in the kitchen, but we really don't fight. We just do it for the amusement of everybody. I like to come on. Excuse me, my throat's full of airline dust, New York City dirt, and LA smog. I just like to sometimes get like a tough guy. I like, you know, when I was back in New York, I was with all the wise guys in New Jersey, and I loved it because we all talk really tough. Hey, fuck you. And I do that, but I'm not a mean person by any means, trust me. And I'm very good to Jimmy. I only beat him up maybe sometimes once a day, twice a day.
What you guys, if you go on my Instagram, Jimmy Star Official, you'll see the videos from the Italian Fest. Some of the performers. I know Lady Lake will love Alicia. Alicia was there. She has a bunch of hit songs from the 80s, and anybody who's an 80s music dance lover, like freestyle dance music lover, will love the videos of Alicia that were there. And it was really a lot of fun. It's the first time I've ever been in. I was the only non-Italian person in the whole thing. There was 500 people.
And they only let him in because he was with me.
That's right.
Meanwhile, we didn't eat for 5 days. And why does my face look fat?
I don't know.
I look bloated.
We walked
swollen.
50,000 steps We walked 50,000 steps and I didn't lose a pound and we barely even ate. So I don't get it.
I look fat. I'm fed up. You know, when I eat a lot, I lose weight. When I don't eat at all, I gain weight. Figure that one out. Talk about being a reverse Gemini.
It was very funny.
No, it wasn't. What was funny?
The whole weekend was funny. We had a good
No,
time.
the
whole
weekend was fun, but we're not going to talk about it because we do not have a second guest. The second guest was abducted by Martians and taken off to a planet. So we're just.
But you can tell them about the plane ride.
Oh, the plane ride. They know what plane rides are. I mean, give me a break. JetBlue is the best and it still stinks. I mean, I hit my head on the top of the thing. I got knocked out. I mean, I couldn't fit. I had to pee 4 times, and the broad on the end was annoyed that she had to get up, the grand queen that she was, with those fingernails 6 feet long and eyelashes that went to the first class cabin. I never saw such eyelashes in my life. What was she, in drag, or she going to go on stage in Vegas? I mean, come on, girls, knock it off. You could put lashes on, but not when they're out 4 and 5 inches. That's a bit stupid. She looked like Elsie the cow.
The plane ride over was fabulous. The plane ride back wasn't as fabulous. The plane wasn't as nice.
No, it wasn't, and it was crowded. And then when we landed, the fuses blew somewhere in the tower, and they couldn't let us out of the plane.
So we had to sit on the tarmac.
You want me to tell? I'm gonna put this mic right down your throat.
No, yeah, I'm talking to
and
you.
You're gonna gargle. You let me know when you're interrupting.
Okay, I'm interrupting. We were stuck on the tarmac for how long, Ron?
Oh, excuse me, my finger just flew by.
How long were we stuck on the tarmac for?
About an hour and a half of torture because we were just 5.5 hours in the air. We took a beautiful Cadillac Escalade taxi from New York City to the airport. Well, the guy was so nice. We chatted. He gave me a tour of all the neighborhoods I lived in, and it took about 2.5, 3 hours, which you normally would be a 40-minute ride. And he took us all over Sunnyside and Woodside and Queens Boulevard, Forest Hills, Rego Park, Astoria, all over. And it was really interesting, but it was sitting in another vehicle for 4 hours. Finally, we got to the airport, which I hate Kennedy Airport and I hate LAX. Those are 2 airports that I will never fly in and out of again. From now on, when we leave for California, we're going to try going out of Ontario Airport, which is not far from here. And that goes into LaGuardia, which is a beautiful airport. And LaGuardia is only 25 minutes to Manhattan with traffic and a cab. Speaking of cabs, well, Jimmy had an appointment up on 42nd Street. We're on 29th Street. And the cab fare would have been $54.
No, $35.
Oh, 34. It's the same thing, 54, 35. Turn it around. Anyway, I told you, excuse me for doing this, but I'm losing my throat, my voice. Jimmy and I said, Jimmy, we're going to walk. This is New York, and I'm a walker. Let's walk. So we walked. It was no big deal. And as we walked, we had a puddle jump because the urine was all over the place. I mean, people just pee. And I spoke with a very nice black cop. He was a doll. And I said to him, I thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I back you guys. But what's going on with these homeless people? Can't you arrest them? Didn't we have a vagrancy law years ago in New York? And he said, yeah, but that's gone. He said, no, we can't even talk to them. He said, because they'll sue us. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, no. I said, but they're peeing in the street. He said, well, not only are the homeless peeing in the street, but a lot of new people from other countries are peeing in the street. A lot of Latin American countries, it's okay to pee up against the wall if you have to go. So I thought, that's really nice. You know, let's just whip it out and pee against the wall. So now we're across the street from the Waldorf Astoria, walking towards 42nd Street, and there were 3 huge puddles of urine that I had to jump over. And I thought to myself, this is not normal. Homeless people, yes, they have them in New York City. One guy laying there sleeping with his balls and his ass out. I mean, really? Now you walk by with your young daughter, you want her to see this filthy human being laying on the floor with his balls and his ass hanging out, and the cop, please pull his pants up. I mean, it's disgraceful. I mean, LA is bad. New York is bad. LA is bad in areas. New York is bad in areas. You go to the Upper East Side, which is a very white Jewish neighborhood. It's divine. You go below 59th Street. It's an ethnic area of mixed people. It's poor and not so divine. You know, same
And
thing.
expensive.
And expensive. Same thing with LA. You go to Beverly Hills, Brentwood, you go to any of those wonderful areas, it's divine. You go down to East LA, it ain't so divine. So that's what we live in. I don't know diversity will ever happen. I think it's a dream that people have. It's never going to happen because everybody wants to be with their own. The Hispanics are in one area of New York, the Ecuadorians in another, the Dominican Republic in another, the Puerto Ricans in another. And I thought, Jesus Christ, what happened to diversity? Black people are clustered together in black groups. And then the 2 or 3 white people that I did see downtown, which was amazing because it used to be all white ones. I mean, New York City was an all white city. Now the white people, I don't know where they went, but Jimmy and I at times were the only white people in the areas. And I thought to myself, at least we're practicing diversity. Where the fuck is everybody else?
So we want to.
I don't know what's going on, folks.
But anybody who says that like LA is a shithole and all the people always come and they say how terrible LA is.
Well, go to New York.
Go to New York. It's no different. It's just, I mean, it's
Same.
terrible. Unfortunately, it's terrible in both places. So we used to always think maybe they were right, but we saw so many, homeless people and stuff. It was just really sad. But we had a blast though.
The only thing we did not see was tent villages like we have in LA. We have villages of tents. No tents in New York. They just sleep on the ground, on the concrete. I found that fascinating how this half-naked man was lying in his urine on the sidewalk where people had to almost step over him. See, in LA, you drive, so you don't smell or get your feet wet in the urine because you're in a car. But you look and you see it. In New York City, you're walking, so you smell it. Now, it was like 88 degrees. You know, when the sun hits the urine, what it smells like? Don't ask. And I kept saying to Jimmy, hold your breath. Hold your breath. That's not my New York. New York City doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to I don't know who. When I was young, we had none of that nonsense. It was a clean, beautiful city of elegant people. Now it's a city of I don't know what, people just running around, not understanding what the city's about, throwing crap on the floor. You can't.
Garbage everywhere.
You can't do that.
Anyway.
I mean, I want to welcome all of the new people coming into our country. I do welcome you, but please respect us, respect our cities, respect our countries. Don't throw junk out of the Parkway window. Grand Central Parkway was always clean, beautiful. Now I saw taco things and McDonald's things all on the side of the road. Don't throw things out of the car window in my city. Go back to where you came from and do it. If you like doing it there, go back home. You could throw all the shit and garbage you want out the window.
You're right, Teresa.
I couldn't care less.
Anyway.
But wait a minute, I'm not finished with my preach. So when you come to New York City or if you come to Los Angeles, which are both my cities, welcome. But please respect our laws, our language, and our city and our police. Now, when the military was all over the airport, soldiers with rifles, it's quite disconcerting, but I went up to each and every soldier, and Jimmy will tell you. And I said, boys, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for keeping us safe. And they were so grateful.
Yep.
And I would suggest to all of you out there to do the same thing. When you see the military boys protecting the Empire State Building as they were, I mean, New York was totally under military cover, because they were so afraid that they were going to blow up one of the major buildings, the Afghanistani, those motherfuckers. But anyway, they were going to blow up something in New York. So the military was scary because we saw, guns all over. I've never seen rifles and machine guns in New York City. I mean, it was quite an experience.
We had a good time, though.
But we had a ball in spite of it because of our friends. I couldn't find pancakes. What happened to the Jewish delis, the Greek diners, and the Italian restaurants?
We gotta go.
We went for Italian food. It was horrible. I went to see the chef.
The Italian food was terrible.
The chef was from Nicaragua or some other Latin country. They're not Italians cooking. We went to Ferrara's Bakery downtown, and there was an African American selling the pastries, which I liked that idea. But years ago, that would never happen. And the kitchen, who knows what. So we're not really getting the ethnic food that we had years ago in New York, cooked by the ethnic people.
We ate in Little Italy and there was no Italians.
No Italians. We went to a feast in New Jersey, and it was all Hispanic and black. I think there was just 2 buildings of Italian people. I said, "This is an Italian feast."
Anyway, we got to go though because we got a guest and we have people we got to say hi to. Let's say hi.
Okay.
We want to say hi. Goddess has joined us in the chat room. Jason Taylor joined us in the chat room. Dave from Stars Now. Dave Hughes has joined us in the chat room, and our guest has joined us in the chat room. So you guys, we got a great guest for you guys today. David Chokachi, what's up? How are you? You look fabulous.
I know
Thank
who
you. How you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
I know you. I've seen you around.
He went to the Clown Motel premiere with you.
Yeah, I know that. I you know, names I stink with. I'm so old. I can't like I said, I don't even remember where my tick is when I have to pee. But
I think you had a beard though then. Did you have a beard?
I did for a while, and then I shaved it. I think it was shaved by the time when I saw you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You look fabulous.
Yeah, and I remember. I think you were a nice guy. I thought.
So hold on, we're gonna do a real intro now that we know we can
We're
hear
tired.
him.
We're very tired.
Yeah, we just
Forgive
got back
us.
from a big event in New York City, and so we got home at 4:00 this morning. So it's very fun. But anyway, you guys, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the actor who never ages. You know him from Baywatch and about 100 zillion other things. We want to welcome him to the show. So David Chokachi, hello and welcome.
Thank you so much, Jimmy and Ron. How you guys doing?
We are fabulous. Besides the fact being
not too
tired.
hot. Not too hot. You're not going to get a Ron Russell explosive, crazy interview today. You're going to get.
He
a very,
says that now.
Well, maybe if I wake up.
Yes.
But last name, ethnic background. It's an
Chokachi?
interesting name.
Yes.
Yeah, Greek, Chinese. No.
No. So believe it or not, my dad was born in the Middle East. My dad was
Okay.
born in Iraq, and the name was originally like Al Chokachi, and then when he came to this country, Al in Arabic means Mister. So when he came to the United States, you kind of drop the Al and spell it the way I do. But yeah, he was born in outside of Baghdad, and my mom has Scandinavian roots.
Fabulous.
So
Her
that's
mom's-
why
Her
you.
mom's from Finland.
So you've got milk white and chocolate. You're like me.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's what makes it good looking. But you know, when I started in the business, they said my name was too ethnic and nobody could ever pronounce it, change it. So I became Russell. Did anybody ever advise you to change your last name to like Smith?
No. Hasselhoff tried, but I'm like, no, I'm not changing my name.
You see, back in 1959, we had no choice. Change your name or you don't work because
Wow.
they didn't want Italians to be in film. They thought Italians were sort of like, you know, like what the people of, like how they treat the people today from other countries.
It's funny though. So we have a chat room, literally lots of places in there. Everybody's talking about how young you still look and how good looking you still are, which is very
Yeah.
nice. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hey, what's up in the chat room? How you guys doing?
There'll be a lot of people coming in,
You
and
sound like you have a New York accent. How
How
you
you
doing?
doing? I think
How
I
you
just from hearing you guys talk.
You know what? You had to hear when I got there. I cracked up laughing. I said, I'm so happy to be back with now nobody will say you have a New York accent. And the guy said to me, you don't have a New York accent. I said, what? He said, no. He said, maybe a little. I said, well, take me to Brooklyn quick. So it's amazing. Here I have a thick New York accent, and there I have a little accent. So really, are you from New York?
No, I'm from it's just a town south of Boston called Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Okay, so pack the car.
Park the car. My mom, who's still alive, yeah, she has a wicked accent still. It's hilarious. But
I
I always
love it.
I kind of got rid of mine when I moved to California. I just I never had it that bad back. Even though I went to college up in Maine, I kind of lost it pretty quickly, which was good because back then they would stereotype you as his accent's too strong. We can't use him.
I love that though.
Well, that's true because they will pick you out. They don't realize that an actor can lose or develop any accent. That's what
Oh,
we
yeah.
do. We're called actors. But they'll say, oh, no, well, that guy, he speaks you like you in Case. They'll say, oh, he speaks Bostonian. We can't use him. Well, how about he wants to speak Brooklynese? He'll do that too. He's an actor.
Yeah.
So I have a question because like everybody in the chat room is talking about your Cody and Baywatch, and it's so funny because like I watched Baywatch, but yeah, I actually liked Witchblade and some of the other stuff like a whole
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
You know, I wasn't all that big of a Baywatch thing, even though I thought David Hasselhoff was cute. But
No, Baywatch wasn't really called Chick Watch.
But I liked it. I mean, it was such a cool show, and we've met a whole bunch of people from it. But so was
And
Baywatch?
I met David years ago, and you know what he said? That he had animals in his house that I don't know if I should say this.
No, don't say it then.
That used to make wee wee all over the house.
Well, ours do that too. So was Baywatch one of your first really big thing?
It was. It definitely was. You know, I moved to California in '94, about 2 days before the Northridge earthquake, and then.
Welcome to California.
Yeah. I got here on a Saturday, and hey, Bruce. I got here on a Saturday, and the earthquake kicked off on Sunday or Monday morning at like 4 a.m.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's
Like,
a terrible way to first get there. And then
What's
how
that?
did that turn? I said that's a terrible first thing to happen when you get there. And then how did you actually get Baywatch? Did you have to
So-
audition a bunch?
Yeah. I had before I even moved to California, I had a small agency. It was called Hero. It was a modeling agency. And they had a small theatrical department. And they were the ones who got the audition. And they were looking to replace one of the main young actors on the show. And I got the opportunity to go in and audition. And, you know, it was a long process. It was, I don't know how many auditions, screen tests, meetings, swim test. I had to go through all these levels, and you know, in the end, I was the guy. But when I walked into the room, what happened was the casting directors. I hadn't said a word. I just walked in. They've been looking at the East Coast, the West Coast. Probably I don't know how many guys they saw, like over 1,000. I walk in, and they're like talking, and they look up, and they're like, "Holy shit, you're the guy." You're the guy we've been looking for. I hadn't said a word. And then I was like, what? You know, and then it was kind of up to me and luckily I had worked on the material over and over, and I was able to deliver it, and, you know, kind of every step of the way, you know, even though I was freaking out inside, stay calm on the outside so they didn't see what was happening. And yeah.
Did you really have to know how to swim then? You really had to swim.
Of course,
Yeah,
it's the Pacific.
They had cast someone years before I got there, and it was a female. I didn't know her name, but she turns out was like terrified of sharks, and she didn't tell this to them. Anyway, they end up casting her, and then she tells them, and so every time she had to do a rescue, she would run to the water ankle deep. They'd yell cut, put in the stunt person. Stunt person goes out, does the rescue, and then she comes back in.
Now you shot up at Zuma Beach, and I know Zuma well. They have sharks up at Zuma.
They're all up and down the coast. I mean, it's just we don't really see them. You know, there's little babies everywhere, and occasionally they see a bigger one here and there. But you know, I'm a big surfer. I surf out at Point Doom all the time, and I've never seen one. And I've asked all the guys who surf there, and only one guy who's been there for surfing there for like 25 years said he saw one large great white at one point, but that was it. And the funny thing is there's all kinds of sea life right there close to shore. There's tons of seals, tons of dolphins. So
They're coming to eat
could
them.
be a place for them to be cruising. Yeah.
Well, Zuma Beach, folks, for those of you out there that are not familiar with it, is where they shot the Planet of the Apes. If you remember the Statue of Liberty when she was sticking out of the water and there was a big cliff, well, that's Zuma Beach, and that's where Baywatch was shot. Now, Pamela Anderson, my daughter handled her. My daughter was her business manager, and she said,
you're
Pamela.
kidding.
Yeah, she said Pamela was my daughter worked for Platinum whatever company, and I
Long time ago.
I forgot what it's called, Platinum whatever. Yeah, she handled a lot of movie stars, and she said Pamela was a doll. In fact, Pamela was up at the office one day, and Leslie said, "Oh my God, let me see the ring, the famous engagement ring." And Pamela took it off. She said, "Here, honey, put it on, see what it feels like." And my daughter said she could never use it. It was uncomfortable. The damn thing was heavy and swung around. Anyway, did you work a lot with Pamela?
Yeah, Pamela was my girlfriend on the show for 2 years, so we
Okay.
worked together quite a bit. And you know, like they would always have these scenes where we're making out or montages where we're chasing each other in the water and playing basketball or all these things. So yeah, man, my character, I got to have a lot of fun. And Pamela was, you know, she was amazing. she, her and I were very self-deprecating. We love to kind of screw around behind the scenes and just not in a sexual way, but just kind of.
Yeah,
We didn't take the whole thing so seriously, you know.
Right.
I think that allowed for our chemistry to be that much stronger on screen when the episodes aired.
it's called relax, and it's very visible on screen.
There
When
you
you're
go.
I can tell you right away. Well, because I'm in the business 1,000 years, but I could tell you right away in a movie if they get along off screen. And if
Yeah.
they get, you can tell, when you're in the when you're in the business. I mean, I won't mention who, but there was two people that were on a show making out, and they hated each other, and boy, was it obvious. And it doesn't do good for the film.
No,
But the GP doesn't see it; they don't get it because they're not in it. But you could tell, and I could tell. We know who the fighters
yeah.
are.
That's
My daughter
you
loved
like
Pamela. She said she was lovely, just a sweet girl.
oh, she's a beautiful human being. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she went through some hard times and she got
Yes.
through them. And I think she has two grown kids, beautiful kids, and I think she's found happiness. You know, which is great.
Did you ever see the Borat movie? Like
course.
where he's like going to see Pamela. I mean, I think that was like the funniest thing. Like I love those. It's ridiculously. It's so insanely stupid, but it's so funny. But the fact that he's going to see her. Yes, I freaking love it. So you've done so many things. We're gonna talk about some of your things that you've done just recently. But I just want to bring up a couple other things. You guys could have seen David in the Witchblade series with Yancey Butler, which I'm bringing her name up because she's also in the film we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yep.
But I wanted to ask real quick about a couple other things that you did. How was it like being on Battle of the Network Stars, and how do you get picked for that? Because that seems like really cool, and that was a big thing back in the day.
Oh, that was so fun. I couldn't wait. That was just that was one of those beautiful incoming calls that and it's like, hey, do you want to go run around and do all these cool athletic events and get paid a lot of money? And I was like, definitely. So yeah, I got to do that with Parker Stevenson was in it.
And he's in the movie that we're talking about in a minute too.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because they pick all the pretty muscular people, so everybody gets to see him running around without a shirt.
They didn't pick me. They missed me
because that was such a big deal, and I used to love it when they would do that, and they would have all the celebrities, battling against each other. I thought it was so much fun. And then another thing, which I didn't even realize it was you, and I watched it when it came out. Because now we live in Palm Springs, but the Christmas in Palm Springs movie with Patrick Muldoon and Dina Meyer and Ian Ziering and Aaron Gray, I didn't even know that was you in it. So now when it comes on this Christmas, I got to watch it again.
That movie was such a lie. You have to live in Palm Springs. Thursday, tomorrow is going to be 111.
In Palm Springs?
Yeah, it's freaking hot still.
At this time of year, which global warming is happening, folks. We never have this time of year 111. It's usually 90, cool down to 90, 100, 99 or 100.
So my last thing before we start talking about the new films is, so you haven't typecast yourself, which I find to be really cool because unfortunately a lot of people get typecast. You're doing family films, Christmas films, dog films, horror films, dramas. I mean, you've done something of everything. And was that a conscientious decision on your part, or was that just what was given to you and you picked the ones you liked, or how did that actually come about that you didn't get pigeonholed to only do one thing?
It's kind of a mixed bag of how it works. A lot of times for some of these movies you get offered them, so they're just it's mainly like, do you like the story and do you like how much they want to pay you to be an actor in this movie, and then other ones, like Witchblade was a big auditioning process where I had to do a network test and then do a studio test. When they're bigger shows, it basically, you really have to go fight for those. I did another TV show called Beyond the Break that we shot in Hawaii, and that one I had to go in multiple times to fight for the role. And then it's kind of where you are, where you're at as a human being in the time. If you kind of can relate to the material, or sometimes, in all honesty, as actors, we're just, we go crazy in between jobs, and we just want to work. So maybe that's why I was doing the dog movie at the time. You're like, yeah, I'll go do a talking dog movie. Who cares? Also, be on set.
And you have to keep yourself working, otherwise you get stale, as we say.
Yes.
You know, years ago, 50 years ago, I'm in the business 64 years. I'm 81. So I came into business 64 years ago. There were half the amount of actors there are today.
Probably
And
less
double
even.
the amount of roles to do. So
Really?
getting an I mean, I played with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter in a movie, Please, when I was 19, my first movie. Who gets a break like that? Nobody. Back in 1959, you could. Try it today. There'll be 3,000 guys stabbing you, shooting you,
At least.
beating the shit out of you so you couldn't get to the audition. So I find that today I get work now because I'm ancient. Every time they need an old bag,
Man,
they
you
say
don't look. You're 81.
81. Yeah.
You don't look like. You look way younger than that.
Well,
everybody tells him
Thank you. Thank you. If you want to have dinner and pick out China, I'm ready. But seriously, when they want an old bag, they hire me. I get more work. I got 6 movies lined up. I got 3 out right now. When in my career did that ever happen? So I'm telling you to look forward to this. Stay attractive. When you're 80, you'll still be working. Because we need diversity, and we are now, old bags are considered diverse people. So you're gonna have a long career, my friend, because you're a young fella.
He's already had, and he's already been doing it
but
25 years.
Yeah, but he's a young fella. When he's my age, he's gonna have some hell of a career, and you will work at my age.
Thank you. I certainly hope so.
No, you will. If you are a good actor, and if you stay in the business with the same joie de vivre that you had when you were young, that excited,
right.
You can't ever get stale, as I said, or bored. If you're bored with your work, you're never going to work.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
gotta
gotta be
like love it.
exciting.
Yeah, so even if the part is shitty, it's okay. You're on the set. You got lines to remember. Every time you remember lines, you're exercising the brain.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of friends. Vincent Price. I'm going to name drop because I don't give a shit. Vincent Price couldn't remember lines to save his ass. And Vinny had a lot of trouble with, who Vincent Price is, of course. You do know Vincent Price.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And because Jane Russell was my best friend, and she could, I said, Jane, we could get you in movies. Why don't you come back? She says, I can't remember lines. That's the problem. And I can't remember lines. But now we have earplugs that we put in, and they feed us a line if we drop it. Johnny Depp does it. Al Pacino does it. Robert De Niro does it. You name them, they does it. Okay, everybody's doing it.
I know.
Because they don't want to learn lines.
Actually, do you remember lines pretty easy, David, or you have a trouble with it?
The better the writing is, the easier it is. Like for Witchblade, for example, I would read a scene from Witchblade, in any of our episodes, because done by this awesome guy, Ralph Hemmicker, and I'd read it like 3 times, and it would just instantly sink in. But if the material is not good, it's like it'll take me a couple days to get it down because it just doesn't flow and it doesn't seem right.
That's why you don't remember.
No,
because
I always say I am so happy you said that. I said my mind hasn't gone, the scripts have gone. Because years ago I could have 3, 4, 5, 7 pages and the grammar was correct and the same sentences had structure.
And they made sense.
And they made sense. And I understood what the writer was saying, and it was character development. Now they throw a script at me. And the guy's got Demsies and Does and yo. What the fuck are they talking about? And you're right. You are 110% right. If the script is right, it's a snap.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. First, we want to welcome in everybody in the chat room. Bruce Reisman, he was on our show a couple of months ago. He's in the chat room. He's actually the writer and director of the film that we're going to talk about now with David. The name of the film is called Last Call in the Doghouse. It was written and directed by Bruce Reisman. And when we had Bruce on, we couldn't play the trailer for it, but we're going to talk about it for a second. And we've worked it out that we think we can play the trailers and music and stuff now without getting shut down.
Jimmy is a genius. Jimmy figured it out, and he's screwing everybody because he does it now, and nobody can stop him.
We had a problem for 2 years. We couldn't play it. YouTube because we're live. Wait, let me explain it.
We couldn't play music either. We had famous people on, the greatest singers in the world, and we couldn't play their music
because YouTube would shut it down.
They threw us off the bastards.
YouTube, because we're live on YouTube. Right now we're live on YouTube and at like 6 other platforms.
Over 5 million people are looking at you. So make sure you have no lettuce on your teeth with a smile.
So here, you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little synopsis that I took off of IMDb for Last Call in the Doghouse. Then we're gonna let David actually introduce the trailer, and we're gonna play the trailer so everybody sees it. That way they get a little glimpse of what we're talking about before we start talking about it.
Sure.
All right, so Last Call in the Doghouse. It's written by and directed by Bruce Reisman. Is it Reisman or Reisman?
Reisman.
Reisman. Okay, sorry, Bruce. Bruce Reisman. Sorry about that, Bruce. I should have remembered that. The Doghouse is a legendary New York dive bar owned by an extraordinary family.
What kind of bar?
Dive bar.
Jive?
Yeah.
Enunciate, darling.
Dive bar. They got it. Owned by an extraordinary family. 3 people from different backgrounds enter at closing time on separate nights, carrying the world on their shoulders. But by the time each of them leaves after last call, their souls are saved while 2 of them realize how connected they are. We'll talk about the cast and everything after we have David introduce the trailer. And Roxy, you ready with the trailer? I hope, right?
It sounds like a good film.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
All right.
When you are.
All right, David, rock and roll. Introduce it for us.
Last Call in the Doghouse is a phenomenal film about these characters who work in a bar, and they all happen to be, well, I play Dog, who happens to be God himself, and my son is Jess, who's Jesus, and then my other son is Mo, who's Moses. And these characters will come into our bar. It's almost like the bar is a beacon that draws them in, and the characters that come in have a something they're struggling with, and it's not evident that they don't come running in and kind of blurt it out, but through a process of conversation, we start talking to them and we find out what their trauma, or for one example, or PTSD is, and through that we go back and forth in time, and we actually go back to their traumatic event, and we're physically in that scene in their event, and we're helping them understand and kind of realize that event was not their problem. And then when we come back to real time, it's as if something has changed within them. It's just it's a mystical, fantastic movie that has so much heart and soul. And it gives you the feeling of hope, which, in today's world with the pandemic and everything we're all going through, delivering that message of hope that Bruce Reisman, wrote and directed, it's really just profound.
We need fantasy. We don't have fantasy today. And we've got to leave the reality of what's going on. And this film, I think, will take you for 2 hours, 10 minutes, possibly, into another place. And it's great.
So say something like, here's the trailer for
Last Call in the Doghouse.
Right.
Play it.
You really ignore me when I'm speaking directly to you?
Look, you get disability. What are you doing living on the streets?
I'm going to go to sleep and not wake up.
It's 2:30. Last call. Come in with me. I do their books.
This is the best bar in New York. Been around for decades. Original owners. Everyone's family.
All right, last call coming up.
Again?
There's the door.
Do I know you?
54 Below. A couple years back.
I was doing a lot of shit back then.
You could have met God.
Bought this place for my sons. They named it after me.
I'm Mary. I gave birth to the bartender.
They're a match made in heaven.
Hi, baby.
Dog made us brothers, and it's still confusing.
Well, we can't all be the mighty Moses.
Nobody can live up to most of this stuff.
You always have to make my problems your problem.
Yes, I do. I'm your brother.
That's what makes us a great team, you know. For better or worse. These are two of the bravest souls I have ever met.
Take care of her, okay? Take care of my girl.
How did it happen, Eli?
Suck it up and get a drink.
He left me.
That was a lie, and we all knew it.
It's a bad night to call me out.
I'm not akin to cruelty. A single act or lots of it.
When we do good deeds, we shouldn't sound trumpets for ourselves, like the hypocrites do in the streets.
The memory plays a few tricks sometimes. You understand?
Last call in the right bar can be very precious.
You just said a mouthful.
It's my trade, you know?
Yay! Clap, 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 clap. It looks fantastic.
Looks like we need something like this. I'm noticing that the names of all the characters are biblical.
Yes.
So it's going to be
good, huh?
it's going to be a film that may inspire people to change some of their ways. You think?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's, you know, and I've learned also, as many people, like you can't internalize your feelings. You know, we all need to express them or talk to another person, and that's kind of the message here. Like, come in and unburden yourself so you can be free.
Right. Well, we need a lot of that, kiddo. We need
Yeah.
a lot of that today.
If you guys-
are you a Christian?
Well, I'm not really any. I grew up Protestant. I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and you know we would go to church, but I like to believe there's someone up there, or higher power, or you know, whatever it may be. You know, I kind of have to, since I am playing God in this. You know, I got to believe it.
Well, you have to believe in yourself. No,
Right.
I believe that good is God. God is good. That's what I believe. If you're a good person, you're God. Well, we all have God inside of us.
That's
we
true.
Have, we have evil inside of us too. Unfortunately, like some of those Afghanistanians that won't let our Americans out. But if you're good, you know, you're godly.
Yes.
And I think this film might be sending some messages out to some nasty people who need to think it over. Maybe they're not doing the right thing.
So hang on. I want to interrupt. So first of all, you guys, this movie is streaming only on StonyPointEntertainment.com. And so if you want to watch this movie, and you do want to watch it because it's a phenomenal movie,
I want to watch it.
You have to go to
I don't watch everything.
StonyPoint-Entertainment.com. There's a couple movies up there that are really good. There's Behind the Curtain, Adam Jacobs, and As Long as I'm Famous, Real Secrets of the Golden Age, which we'll talk about also in a minute, that
but
David also stars in.
What I got out of this film is I might, for once in a long time, I might be seeing a movie that has a story. Wouldn't that be nice for a change?
Instead of just blowing them up and killing.
A beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think I think I can. When can I see this, Jim?
It's also on Amazon, you guys.
Wait, hang on. Wait.
Amazon.
I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask God the Star. When can I see your work?
It's on Amazon.
So you're repeating Jimmy now. What are you, stupid?
You guys, you can get it on
No,
Amazon Prime.
Really. Now, listen. We have a lot of people my age out there that say, what in the hell is he talking about Amazon? In a boat? In the jungle? No. Tell us how to see your movie specifically and easily.
So you go to the streaming platform called Amazon Prime Video, and you could just type in the search bar, Last Call in the Doghouse, and it's right there.
And if you can't do that, get your grandson to do it or your granddaughter,
Exactly.
or just, get somebody that's young that knows how to do it. But I would suggest that all my older fans who are watching our show watch this. I think it might make us feel a little easier about being closer to the end.
So also then you guys, so listen, if you saw in there, so I think Adam Jacobs, was he Moses?
Yes.
So Adam Jacobs, you guys, he was on our show a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I guess probably like 2 months ago. And he's a huge Broadway star.
Parker was on our show.
No,
too.
we've never had Parker on the show.
You sure? I thought we had.
But here's some of the people in it. Judy, how do you pronounce Judy's last name correctly? Do you know? Geeson. Okay, she's been in a ton of stuff, you guys. Yancey Butler, Julian Curtis, Parker Stevenson, Aaron Forrest, who's in a bunch of other movies with you. I noticed on IMDb. Amanda Grace, Adam Jacobs. So it's got a really great cast. It's got a really great story.
And I love that it's not a bounce camera. They're still shots, so I don't get nauseous watching. And the sound is good, and everybody's enunciating, so I don't have to listen to Marlon Brando.
Oh, even Dave Hughes is saying Judy's a great English actress.
These are points that are so important to older audiences. You know, the young filmmakers, they make it where they talk on this and they don't realize that half of us can't hear, and we need, where that you have to satisfy everybody. And I think this film is clear cut good.
Judy Geeson was in To Sir with Love with Sidney Poitier.
Okay,
in 1967.
That's quite a movie.
Yeah, that's quite a movie. And so I want to know what it was like, because I've actually talked to lots of different people who've worked with Bruce Reisman, since I messed up his name earlier. Tell us, how was it working with Bruce? Because I heard he's phenomenal to work with, and he's an actor's director.
He is. I've known him for many, many years. We've worked together on a few different films. We did As Long as I'm Famous. He has the sequel to Last Call in the Doghouse that's actually in pre-production right now as we speak. And he's a huge theater buff, musical buff. He grew up in that time frame. He loves rehearsal.
Wait, back it up. What was the word you just said? I heard that word. Oh, what is that exactly?
Something we don't do anymore.
And I hate it. I hate it.
Anyway, he's just a beautiful human being and a very gifted writer, director. And like you said, he really makes you on set feel comfortable. You can do your own thing, but in rehearsals, we play with all kinds of ranges. And then by the time we put the cameras up, even though I was opposed to the rehearsal in the beginning, I loved it. By the time after the first day, I was like, let's do this more. I was way into it.
You were opposed to a rehearsal?
Well, it was a lot of times.
I beg.
Put the camera up and see what happens.
No. I beg for a rehearsal because the chemistry doesn't work unless you warm it up a little bit.
Right. True.
Oh no.
No rehearsal time. That's just the way it is.
No, you can rehearse fast.
Wait. I have a question about that then, because I know you do a lot of cool indie films. Back when you were doing network stuff, did they rehearse? Like, did you rehearse on Baywatch and all those shows, or no?
No. You get on set, you run it a few times, you block it, you shoot it.
Okay.
So years ago,
some you would do table readings on, like Witchblade would do table readings.
I did table readings and I did rehearsals, and then we did one rehearsal before the shoot. These were very big movie stars I worked with. They weren't kids; they were pros. Like the Betty Davis people. You know what I mean? They knew their shit, but they insisted on a rehearsal. They wanted to see what the other jerk is going to do and how they're going to do it. No.
He does films and he's like, where are my marks and stuff? And there are no marks. Where do I go? Just walk over there someplace. The camera will follow you.
I asked one time, where's my key light? They said, what's that? I said, okay, who's shooting this film?
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to say something. I saw two guys, Jimmy and I are both married. We're celebrating our 10th year wedding anniversary in October. And I'm happy to see that your film shows two men getting married, Jewish men getting married, breaking the glass. And that makes me very happy. So.
Oh, Bruce actually wrote. Cool. Bruce wrote, David's not used to rehearsal because the business has changed so much. We rehearsed yesterday for the sequel and it was great.
No, but you know what? I rehearsed with Angie Stevens. Oh my God, Angie Stevenson, one of the sexiest, most gorgeous women in the world. We went off to a dark corner and people were starting to whisper. And I said, cut it out, you filthy-minded people. We're rehearsing. Angie and I ran our lines together. And then I said to her, listen, why don't we do this? She said, yeah, Ron, let's do that. And when we shot it, it was wonderful. It was better than anybody else's work because we had ironed it out. on our own. Do you do that? Do you pull people over like Pamela? Do you get her in the dark corner and say, "Let's rehearse"?
Oh, of course. I mean, that part goes without saying. Especially if you have any time before they're ready to block. I was always one to say, let's run this. Let's run as many times as we can before, because we don't get the allotted time we need. So you gotta make the most of your time on set.
Well, I find when I have to deliver a line that's really tough, because I do a lot of tough lines, they write them for me. And with women, it can almost come off like I'm a macho guy beating up a woman. And I don't like that. So I tell the woman, when I deliver this line to you, maybe you should do this facial expression like you're a moron. Oh, okay, stupid. You know what I mean? Not frightened. And a lot of this one person, she was a pretty famous actress. She agreed with me. She said, "No, Ron," she said, "you're very frightening on camera." She said, "When you get into that tough guy, gangster role, you really are frightening." And she was frightened. So I said, "Well, don't react frightened. React like, forget about it, stupid. You're nobody."
So you guys, this is Last Call in the Doghouse. It's available on Amazon Prime. It's also available on stonypoint-entertainment.com, which David also has another film that he did before he did this movie. It's called As Long as I'm Famous, Real Secrets of the Golden Age. It's also a Bruce Reisman movie.
Wait, I want to hear him talk about that. That interests me.
Hang on.
No, it's talking about the Golden Age.
I know. I'm going to let him. So tell us a little bit about it.
Let him talk.
Let him.
You tell me about it. Don't listen to him.
Well, no, he was doing a good job. As Long as I'm famous. No. As Long as I'm famous is exactly what Jimmy said. It's a time period in the golden era, the golden age of Broadway, and Bruce again had these relationships back in the day with Joshua Logan, and in the movie it's Montgomery Clift, and I play Gene Tunney, who is the real heavyweight boxer in 1929, and the movie takes place in 1940. And it's all about, it takes place at this Connecticut home where they would all retreat to, all these actors and writers, and then all this kind of cheating on their partners or hooking up with, even though like the relationships of the two guys in the movie, Montgomery Clift and oh my God, I'm blanking.
Bruce, who's the other one?
Rock Hudson, probably.
Takes place in 1948 New York.
Oh, 40 Rock.
Anyway, it was taboo to be in an openly gay relationship back then. Yeah. So we explored that kind of a storyline. And we explored my character who had mental problems. And it was like beautifully shot. But we shot in this Bruce's agent's gorgeous house up in Bel Air. And the house itself is just... It's just right out of that time era.
Okay. This I want to see immediately. When can I see this film? This is up my alley. When can I see this film?
Where is this one?
Amazon Prime also. Amazon Prime Video.
Right now we could get it like tonight?
Yes,
with dinner?
you can.
Okay, we're watching.
Actually, you'll like this because you know who's in it. So Michael Pare is in it.
Oh, I know Michael. I know Michael Michael. I know
Michael
100
Pare
years ago.
Tracy Nelson, who's in tons of stuff in like the 80s.
Also Montgomery Clift and everybody else you're going to name it.
Eric Lutz plays Richard Rogers. Aaron Forrest, who's also in Last Call of the Doghouse, in the Doghouse, plays Sid.
Sidney Lumet. That's who. He's Sidney Lumet.
Yes, Sidney Lumet.
That's who directed me, and that kind of woman. Could you believe it? My first movie. I was directed by Sidney. I mean, how do you not do that today? You can't.
It's amazing.
Yeah, a 19 years old boy, soldier. I was a soldier. Sidney Lumet, Sophia, and Tab. And I remained friends with Tab all those years until he passed.
So Bruce says it's like a George Cukor movie.
Oh, I cannot wait. Tonight
and Bruce says David is so good and famous that people don't recognize him.
Now, who do you portray again, David?
Bruce, I love you.
Or you portrayed Gene Tunney, the pilot.
I played Gene Tunney, yeah, and it was challenging. I had to. There's this scene where he's actually in Bellevue Mental Hospital, and he has a breakdown. And because his parents in real life were immigrants from Ireland, his dad, they both had heavy Irish accents. And even though Gene Tunney didn't really, but when he has this mental breakdown, he kind of goes back into this Irish brogue, and
Yeah, but
it's a beautiful scene with Eric Lutz and myself.
let me tell you the truth about that. He didn't have a nervous breakdown. He had his brains knocked out. He was so his brains were so badly damaged that they didn't function like a human anymore. He was going in and out of periods of time and stuff. I remember my mother was an actress, so I remember my mother telling me stories about that. Yeah. He was beaten very badly in the head.
Yeah.
So you guys, both of the films you guys are on Amazon Prime. So one of them is called As Long as I'm Famous. Real Secrets of the Golden Age is like the tagline after it, but the movie is As Long as I'm Famous. And the first one that we discussed is called Last Call in the Doghouse. Both of them star David Chokachi, and both of them are written by Bruce Reisman and directed by Bruce Reisman.
And you got 2 good films going for yourself, kiddo. You're lucky.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Ron.
No, really.
He's got a lot.
If I didn't like it, I would just keep my mouth shut.
And to go back to, I was...
no, seriously, I don't bullshit anybody. I hate that crap, that Hollywood stuff. Oh, you're fabulous. You're wonderful. I love you. And then they turn around and say, boy, is he a dog. No. These are 2 films I'm definitely I want to watch the Hollywood one tonight with dinner, if we can stay awake.
So you guys, Last Call, the tagline for Last Call in the Doghouse is Field of Dreams meets Cheers.
Wait a minute. In the Hollywood one, I hope they didn't write things that aren't true, because I know everything about that era. You know, I'm a connoisseur of.
Bruce is very, he's very
articulate,
focused about that.
Because the thing with Rock Hudson with the Black Lover coming out was all bullshit. That movie was disgusting. That movie was so bad.
Did you see Hollywood?
I wanted to burn every print of
that
Hollywood.
like mini series that they did about Hollywood.
It was such a lie.
He didn't like it. It's on Netflix.
It was such. I knew Rock Hudson. I was on his show. I knew him as Roy as my not buddy, but a friend. And he was so in love with somebody else who was not black. And Rock never went to the Academy Awards hand in hand with a black man saying I'm gay. I mean, Rock would have killed. When we shot McMillan and Wife, there was a line that Rock didn't like, and he told Script Girl, could we change that? It's a bit feminine. Okay, that's how he protected his gayness. He never would make a gay move or a gay gesture. If he did, he said, tell me, I want to reshoot it. And he's going to walk in the Academy Awards with a black lover and say, I'm gay? Get the fuck out of here.
Did you see what Bruce just said about everything and every
incident in As Long as I'm Famous is real, told to him personally.
Good, Bruce, because I'm watching and I know hey, that's my
time. You talked with Bruce about that when he was on the show. He was on our show, Bruce.
When was Bruce on our show?
With Jacobs.
Oh, I remember
with
him.
Adam Jacobs. We had a little bit of trouble with the Wi-Fi, but yes you loved it.
I loved him. What are you talking about? He's my pal. No, he's all about my era. That's 40s and 50s is my era. Are you kidding?
So
okay. Now I'm gonna really love the film.
You're gonna love it. So I have a couple of everybody, Amazon Prime, Last Call in the Doghouse, and As Long as I'm Famous. I want to do a bucket list question. This is something I like to ask all the famous actors.
And you're a good actor, so you're gonna make the film quality.
Thank you.
No,
I appreciate that.
Did you have to learn to box? Moves, jumps, and stuff?
Well, we did. We rehearsed actually in my house for days. We rehearsed in the pouring rain, and Aaron Force, he directed all the boxing, and it was Gavin Adams, Aaron, and myself over and over. And then we took it to the stage where we had rehearsals. So to get that boxing down, it took a lot, but it looks amazing. And Bruce had it switch between color and black and white, and it's got
I love that. I love that
dynamic effect.
Now, how tall are you?
Me, 5'10".
Okay, so you're perfect height, because Johnny was about that height. Yeah,
it's perfect.
And you're a lightweight body.
Yeah, that was the only thing I couldn't do. Bruce was like, you got to gain like 30 pounds, and I was like, man, I can't. If I gain 30 pounds,
hang out with me for a week. I'll get you 30 pounds.
Okay.
Just eat some Italian food. All right.
I look at food and gain 30 pounds.
So bucket list questions. Now, you've done all these fabulous things. So bucket list, a male and a female actor that you have.
I want to ask you one question. Are you married?
Yes.
I am married, and I have a beautiful 9-year-old daughter.
Good for you. Take care of that child. She's valuable. Right. She is your future, my friend.
That's right.
I have 2 daughters, wonderful daughters. They're all women now, but they are my beautiful. Well, they're killing me if they heard that. But they are one of the reasons I live.
No, I know that feeling.
Okay, so you're a good dad. Good
Absolutely.
good for you, Daddy.
So-
good for you, Daddy.
So bucket list, male and female actor that you have not had a chance to work with yet that you would like to work with. They could be living or dead, even, like, you know, just to make it fun. And if you could have been in any movie in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in?
Ask them one at a time, otherwise they
No,
get
that way he gets to
confused.
think about the second one while he's answering the first one, because
Well, I'll
it's a
answer
hard
the
question.
second one first. I would say, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, the great movie.
I would love.
Nobody's ever said that, too.
No, that's an interesting choice. Why?
First of all, I'm fascinated with history and war and how people have the courage to overcome something as fearful as D-Day, as getting off a boat on that day and storming Normandy. So just the way the movie was shot, it was just so realistic. And that one or Band of Brothers, they're kind of one of my.
Oh, good, great one. I love Band of Brothers.
Yeah,
okay, and give us an actor and an actress you'd like to work with, because we got to let him go. He's got another thing to do.
Wow.
Maybe pick living. It'll be easier.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've always loved Brad Pitt's work, so I'll pick him because he's a beautiful human being. And
Not according to Angie. and I know Angie really well. Angie grew up in my house. She lived around the corner on Roxbury. We lived on Spalding. My daughter Deirdre is girlfriends with her. They went to school together.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I gave her peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as a kid in my house.
Well, let him get a female.
Go.
Female. Jeez. That one's tough. I always identify with the male actors because those are the roles I know I can be in.
How about a good dramatic role with Sophia Loren, who's making a big comeback?
There we go, Sophia Loren.
There we go. All right, everybody.
She's
So
going to get the Academy Award, She's the winner. Yeah. For her film. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, she's brilliant.
It's on Netflix.
The most brilliant actress of our day. She's not attractive anymore. She's very old and homely and couldn't care less. No makeup, no camera angles that make her look pretty. And her performance was absolutely scary, mind-boggling. Please watch it. My God.
Okay.
So hang on, two things, and this is for Bruce, because I've got Barry telling me we got to get you going. But Bruce said, ask him how Britt fed the actors off camera without being asked to. She knew. And then I'm trying to get David to do a play. Help me out, guys.
Yeah, so Britt's my daughter, and she was in Last Call in the Doghouse, and she plays Adam Jacobs' daughter when we do a flashback to Poland in 1940, and they stop the train and they tell Adam, who's a Polish Jew, and his daughter to get off the train, and they're like, "What do you mean get off?" And they'd say, "Run." And they're going to target practice on Adam and my daughter. Anyway, it's a great scene because we come in and I end up grabbing my daughter and yanking her out of there. We're playing these rebels who are trying to fight against the Nazis, and so that was a really cool moment. And what was the other one?
He wants you to star in a play.
I'm ready, Bruce. I think I'm actually finally ready.
Okay, there you heard it, and 5 million witnesses, Bruce.
Bring it.
All right, so you guys can follow David Chokachi on Instagram. He's the real David Chokachi. Chokachi is CHOKACHI. On Twitter, he's the real Chokachi. And we want to thank you for coming on the show. We so appreciate it, and good luck with everything. If you've got anything you ever want to promote, let us know. And everybody, go to Amazon Prime and check out Last Call in the Doghouse and As Long as I'm Famous.
And Dave, thank you for a nice interview.
Oh, Jimmy, Ron,
you're a nice guy.
You guys are amazing. It's so easy, and you make it super fun.
Thank you so much. And Barry Rogers, thank you for setting this whole thing up. And we'll see you soon, David. All right, have a good one.
See you tonight.
Thanks, Bruce.
See you tonight in your movie. You better be good.
There we go. Please watch
or
it.
else I'm going to call you and tell you stink.
Don't do that.
Bye, David. Thank you. No, he won't. He knows it's going to be good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Davey.
All right, everybody.
Nice fella.
What a cool guy.
Yeah,
He's got a great publicist.
Nice guy. Well, look what I look like.
And Bruce is fabulous, so you got to love the whole thing.
You know the expression when they say I look like the wreck of the Hesperus? I never understood what that meant until now. Oh my God. You know, when you're old and you don't sleep, you look wretched. No, you get uglier.
You gotta like love the whole
Like your
thing.
nose gets swollen and your eyes shrink and they swell. I look like I got beat up.
So here's what we're gonna do, you guys. Let me do a quick commercial where everybody can hear us.
Can we pull that camera back a little?
No. So what's up? You guys can listen to the Jimmy Star Show live, W4CY Radio, our home station. We're on every Wednesday from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. You can also hear us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and SoundCloud. We're also on a bunch of other platforms, but those are the biggest ones. And we want to thank everybody in the chat room. I think some other people joined us, but I'm not sure who. If I forgot you, I'm sorry because there's so much going on. But B. Claudia is with us, and I don't know if I said hi to B earlier. So hello, B. We love you. Yay. What we're going to do now, you guys, is take a little break, and then when we come back, we're going to play a music video. When we come back, we'll tell you about our trip to New York. It was a lot of fun. You guys, I think, will love it. And we also want to welcome Jason Taylor. The Three Geeks podcast is joined us. So I think he's Three Geeks podcast. If he's not, I'm sorry, I fucked it up. I'm tired. And so what we're gonna do now is play "Special Day" is the name of the song. The artist's name is John Butcher. B. Claudia is a big what do you call it? A big promoter of this. She loves this song. It's a fabulous song. It's really, really good. So Roxy, you got it ready to go? I'm sure she does.
Yep, I got it ready.
All right, everybody. So check it out. This is off the brand new album, Special Day. It's the first single. The name of it is Special Day by John Butcher, Grammy nominee. Enjoy.
Cares and troubles all behind. I'm crossing America, drive a new car if you got enough money. Rockin' America, it's what the people do. And mama always said, I am the best, so this is your special. This is your special. And mama always said, I am the best, so this is your special. I'm driving west on a highway through the heartland. I took a left and got a ticket from the policeman. I told the jury, please don't take me from my family. And that's when the judge said, lock him up and throw the key. I'm a fighter, I'm a singer of the spoken word. I need free like the eagle and the hummingbird. I hope America's working toward a better day, and it'll be alright as long as we don't throw it all away. Everything will be alright.
Butcher, you guys. We actually he performed this weekend at the Soho Johnny Celebrity Benefit Concert Gala at Roomy Event Space on Saturday for 911. He was one of the performers, so we got to actually meet him after we've had interviewed him on the show. He was super cool. We met him and his wife and his producer and his wife and her wife and his wife, and it was awesome. So the whole thing was great. So now we're going to tell you a little bit about our weekend. Because it was really a lot of fun. And one of the people that I enjoyed the most was the girl that we had on the week before, Creisha Turner, you guys, the girl who was in all the music videos and is a movie star and 4-time Juno Award nominee, more beautiful in person than she was on screen, and the nicest girl ever. We had such a good time with her. It wasn't even funny. Oh, everybody's saying hi to Astro. You want to hold him up to this thing? There's Astro. Hey. Ron missed Astro so much. There was a little lady with a dog sitting next to us on the plane going over there, and it made Ron almost cry because she had her dog and Astro was at home. So he was so excited to get home to Astro yesterday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He hasn't left my side. He slept with me, pressing his body against me. He hasn't stopped kissing me, moaning and groaning when I hug him. He really loves me and I love him, and he misses me so much. I'm going to have to take him with me. So I inquired, you have to buy a baby ticket, you know what a child would cost for round trip, and then you have to keep him confined to a case.
Okay, so we have to get a case and get him used to being in it to see if he could do it.
The only thing is, when I go to events and stuff, I can't leave him in the hotel room alone because he'll cry. He'll be frightened. So really and truly, having a little pet like this is heavenly, but not at times, heartbreaking. I don't like leaving him, especially these dogs are very high strung and sensitive. They could flip out.
So tell everybody, what did you think of Creisha Turner? Besides the fact that you couldn't remember her name, we got great pictures with her, by the way. She's fabulous.
My thrill was Kim Sledge.
No, but first tell them Creisha, because she was on our show.
I did Creisha.
What
more do you want to say?
Did you like her? Was she nice?
Did I
think
like
she was pretty?
Of course. I please. Jimmy, I'm tired. Don't talk like this, Mike. I'll put it right up your ass, and you'll never know what it. Well, you may love that. But
she was so cool, you guys.
She's a doll. She's sweet. She's beautiful in person.
One of the best performances
and she was
of the
very,
night.
very respectful of me and very, very caring of me, and I really like her a lot.
And then one of her invited guests that she brought was Mario Van Peebles. You guys know him from the Ali movie in New Jack City and a bunch of other things. He's a super famous actor, and he was very, very cool. He showed up in a cowboy hat, so we got to meet him and talk with him. And then Kim Sledge stayed in our hotel, and so we got to see her in the hotel.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Mariconetta.
Well, go.
I mean, you want to cut into my little shit now, too?
Go.
I know Kathy Sledge. Now I know Kim Sledge. They are the loveliest of lovely women. Women should learn from them. So I asked Kathy when I interviewed her years ago, how did you get to be so lovely? She said, our mother. We had a mother who taught us the right thing. Now, being with Kim all that time, Kim Sledge, she told me the same thing. So I said, you should write a script. And Kim said, we have a script. I said, well, Jimmy, I think has the people that can maybe fund your movie. And we could see the life story of Sister Sledge. And I've got to tell you, the mother sounds like a saint. She raised them to be the most respectful, lovely, no racism, no hate, no nothing. They're just beautiful, two of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. And I love both of them very much. But Kim, I really got close with.
She gave you a CD.
Oh, and what she wrote in the CD was just phenomenal. I mean, just the most beautiful sentiment she wrote for me. Beautiful.
So while we were there, Kim's daughter came
another beauty.
And she is like a young Kim Sledge. And she's a singer and a model, and she was gorgeous.
Same class, same elegance, same well-bred person. These people are just beautiful people.
Oh, we didn't welcome Pat Grant either. Pat Grant joined us from Canada.
Get this fly off my cup. Get out of here. The fly would get off my
cup. We have a fly. That's funny.
The fly wouldn't leave my cup.
Actually, too, you guys.
I almost drank the fly.
On the if you go on my Instagram, you guys, we still have more pictures that we haven't put up yet. But if you go on my Instagram, there's one video of Creisha Turner and I while Kim Sledge is singing, and then there's another video where Kim is on stage and Kim's daughter is on stage, and all of us are on stage, and we're singing what's the name of the song? Don't Stop Believing. And it's everybody who was a singer in the place that was still there at the end of the show. They're all singing, and in the background, it's Joey Belladonna, who is actually doing the big high vocals because he's also in a Journey tribute band. And so he's like singing, and I have got a bunch of video of him, like, so because he was hiding behind everybody, but he was the voice that you really heard. Everybody wanted to know who was singing. It was really him.
His wife is
Krista.
gem, absolute gem. Krista and I got along so well. We became best friends the whole time that the days that we were together. I hung out with, what's his name? The first name?
Joey.
I hung out with Joey and his wife, Krista. Even when we went to the after party up at the penthouse apartment, we hung out and we sang together. It was a fabulous event. For those of you I can't even speak. I'm so tired, folks.
One thing too, about that was so cool. So Joey showed up on Friday morning. We saw him Saturday morning. We saw him Saturday morning because we got there Friday night, and he was they had just gotten up, and he said he had just flown in from doing a concert the night before for 90,000 people.
Right.
And now here he is coming doing like a little thing for 300 or 400 people. He's the least conceited, affected rock star I've ever seen. For somebody who's got 6 Grammy nominations and sold millions of records, he's just like a regular Joe, cool guy, and we love him.
He's a sweetie pie. Now let's talk about another cool guy, Soho Johnny. Not too many of you people know who he is, but those of you who do know who he is, you're going to agree with me. I became very close to Soho this trip. We shared limos together. We had a lot of downtime, private time to talk and find out about his life and my life. And I've got to tell you, this man has a heart bigger than anybody I know. He is so caring of the world, and he wants so much to raise money for his causes, which help everyone. And I'm saying everyone, not just certain people, but everyone on the planet. His benefit. Soho Johnny is just a terrific guy, handsome, talented. He's got a cute little song out. I don't care for his song, but he's doing a good job singing it. Now he told me he's going to sing original work of his music that he and some big shot are creating. So that should be a big plus for Johnny. I always felt that when somebody does a cover meaning somebody else's song, you compare it. How can you do Faithfully or anything that Johnny Mathis has sung? Don't touch it because it belongs to the singer who made it famous. And Johnny agreed. But Johnny went out of his way, cost him money and time and effort, and all of us loving him so much, we all flew in and supported his benefit, and it was a great, great success. And a lot of people are going to be happier today than they were 3 days ago because of my buddy, Soho Johnny Pasquale.
He's fabulous, and we had he was so warm. He's family, he's like family. And
well, that's what fabulous. He said to me in the limo. I said, Johnny, how can I thank you so much for your kindness and your generosity? You've been so good to Jimmy and I. He said, hey, Ron, we are family. And I said, good. In Italian, that's important. When an Italian tells another Italian, siamo famiglia, that's what it means in Italian. Siamo famiglia. We are family. And that's why I love this song so much. And Kim Sledge. So the whole evening just tied together.
So then after, so there was some standout performances. One of them was Krisha Turner. One of them was Kim Sledge. Then Ron's cousin, April Rose Gabrielli. She performed.
Let me tell about this. Come on. I'm not a great lover of what goes on today. We're jumping and music and screaming and tattoos and spears and rings and weirdnesses. That's not my deal. So when she got on the stage, I figured another one of those screaming brats. No way. Her choreography was fabulous. Not because she's my cousin, but her voice is absolutely fabulous. And as far as I'm concerned, again, not because she's a relative, she was my highlight of the evening, even better than Kim Sledge. She rocked the house. And that little fella she works with, what's his name? Kulik?
Yes.
My God, is he wonderful. And can he sing? And his choreography. So, there's a lot of young kids out there today who are really talented. And they're not necessarily doing all that weird stuff which covers their talent.
So if you guys go on my Jimmy Star official Instagram, I actually videotaped the whole Kulik and April Rose Gabrielli thing.
Oh, it's
Kulik was
good.
so good. He
Yeah.
had the audience jumping around. He jumped off the stage and ran through the crowd and jumped on the bars. I mean, he had so much energy.
And
then,
you know what I found impressive is when you are singing a note, you cannot jump because your voice will go, oh, you know, you'll yodel. And he was able to control his voice as he was leaping from furniture to stage. And that's an achievement in itself. Now, I understand that the person who represents my cousin said to her, less makeup, less glitz, more talent. And that was good advice because she doesn't need the big crazy hair and makeup and whatever. Talent comes out.
And she was so good, and she performed a song we hadn't heard yet, and then she performed her hit "Do You," which right now is number 27 on the adult contemporary charts. You guys should all Google it. It's one of the most Shazammed. If you use the Shazam app, it's one of the most Shazam songs in the world right now. And she was so good. And then another one who was really good. I don't know if you guys remember back when we went to LA the last time, Arrow Rose. With the girl who lost her mother during 9/11, she came up and sang her "Damaged," which is her premiere first single she's ever released, and it was the first time she had ever performed in front of a crowd, and so she performed for 500 people on the very first time she ever performed. She was nervous going up there, but as soon as she got up there, all the nerves went away, and she killed it.
No, she said before she went on stage, she said, Ron, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I said, if you go up there and act nervous, I'm going to come up on the stage and throw you off. I will push you right off the stage and say, ladies and gentlemen, she's too nervous to perform. She said, you would do that? I said, you bet I will do that. So don't you dare be nervous. Well, when she finished her set, she came back down. She said, thank you so much. She said, because I wasn't nervous. I was worried about what you were going to do.
Some of the other cool people who performed that we met, Manny Cabo from The Voice. He's he's a rocker guy, and you guys know him if you watch The Voice because he's got the most watched videos of anybody who auditioned for The Voice as a rocker. And then we hung out with Felipe Rose from the Village People who performed his new song. He was on the show last week shortly, and he gave me one of his feathers from his feather thing that he wears as the Indian from the,
so now
the Village People.
We know Randy and we know Felipe.
Yeah, Randy Jones and Felipe Rose.
Two people from the Village People. But Wendy Stewart, my God, looking absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful dress she had on, and her hair was done by Mark Giollis, and it was magnificently done. And she didn't stop rocking, dancing, running, going, doing, hugging, photographing. Where that broad gets her energy from.
And her husband, Alan, was there.
Alan was there like me in half a coma. Alan and I were being led around like the ancient ones. And Wendy was just flying like from Peter Pan, Wendy.
And we saw all our friends. Ike Avelli was there.
Oh, it was so good to see
Nick
Ike.
Lyon.
I haven't seen Ike in a long time, and Nick was so good to see. It was just
Nick Lyon. Who else did we see? Mark Alwis,
and
Billy Hess,
and Eileen Shapiro, of course, who I love and adore. Eileen's one of my dearest friends.
Las Vegas singer Chris Ruggiero was there.
Right. And a crowd, a lot of people in the crowd, famous people in the crowd.
Lottie Da from Leather and Lace with
right.
Big Disco Group.
And I was in the back resting and trying to calm down a little bit with Mickey Burns. Mickey and I
TV host
Mickey Burns and I were back there giving some good advice to a young kid who's getting a radio show, or was it what we have, whatever that podcast. And
Leon.
Oh, Leon.
Leon is so cool, you guys. We love Leon.
I said, Leon, why didn't you sing Love Is a Beautiful Thing? I love that song so much. And he said, well, I couldn't bring my orchestra. He said, I don't do it to track. And I said, good for you. So he did another song, which was really good. Leon is terrific. He's an actor. He's been in a lot of movies. He was in the Tina Turner movie. He played, who did he play in the Tina Turner?
I don't know if he was in the Tina Turner movie.
Well, he was in one of those
No, he did the life of David Ruffin of the Temptations. He played David Ruffin.
Right, that's what it was. He played David Ruffin.
He's been in so many things.
And he was married to one of the housewives of somewhere.
Of Atlanta.
And he's just the coolest guy. I love Leon.
And then I'm looking at pictures. Sari Shore was there. She
Yep.
didn't perform, but she supported. She's a Grammy nominee, I think.
And of course, we're not going to forget Soho Johnny's assistant,
Gail.
Gail, ran
John Velasco.
Yeah, Gail. Right, we'll get there. Gail ran around making sure that everything was put together correctly, and Gail is just a super duper gal, but one of the nicest people I've met.
And Shitty Princess was there.
I don't care for that. I still can't get over that shit.
Her name was Shitty Princess. I announced her. It was funny, and she wears a crown, like a princess crown, over a lampshade, so you don't actually know what she looks like.
Good for her, because with a name like that, who'd want to be known?
And John Velasco was there, and we love John
Yes,
Velasco. We had lunch with him
love-
Monday, breakfast with him Monday.
We love him, and I got out of him so many stories about great celebrities. Did you know that he picked up Tina Turner when she was with Ike? Okay, before she became the Tina Turner, and he created her and made her into Tina Turner. I thought, wow, what an achievement, because I love Tina Turner, and what you see today is all because of John and all the movie stars that he's known. We had a great time, talking about, similar friends in the business. He's a brilliant man, and he's a very successful man, and he's probably one of the most important people in our business today.
He's fabulous. And then we met this really cool guy, and I'm sorry I forgot his name, but he stars in Kinky Boots on Broadway.
Oh, yes.
I forgot his name, but his outfit was outrageous.
Yes, his name is
Oh, and then we also met. I got to finally meet. Oh shit! Now I forgot his name. Holy moly, that's terrible. Anyway,
we're very tired.
The guy from Click Magazine, you guys. So the very first episode of Click Magazine came out. They do two covers, one on the front and one on the back.
Oh, also speaking of
wait, let me finish this real quick. So, and in this magazine, the very debut issue, there's an article on Ron's cousin, April Rose Gabrielli. There's because it was Fashion Week. There's an article on Philip Block, who was on our show not too long ago. There's one on Soho Johnny, and there's one on Ron's favorite person in the world. I'm looking for the page.
Patti LaBelle?
No, favorite person that you know.
Oh. Who?
Sue Wong.
Oh, Sue Wong. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm going to see Sue in 2 weeks. I can't wait.
So Sue Wong, April Rose Gabrielli, Philip Block, and it's a beautiful magazine. It's a real magazine, not online, so it's really cool.
And then the New York's #1 gay magazine was there.
Get Out Magazine.
Get Out Magazine, and he is Jimmy's oldest friend.
Yeah, we've been friends for like 25 years or something.
Well, what's his name?
Michael Todd. He owns
Okay.
Get Out Magazine. I worked with him in Florida, believe it or not. I worked with him in Florida for about 10 years, and then he moved to New York and started a magazine. And then we met Eileen. And Eileen, I didn't know what magazine he started. And when we met Eileen, Eileen said she writes for Get Out Magazine. And we went someplace to meet the people from Get Out. And it was Mike's Magazine, which I didn't know. And it ended up, that we've been friends forever. So it was like 6 degrees of separation.
And then one year we were on the cover. Jimmy and I were on the cover of that magazine. And I was very thrilled, that
yes,
that he thought that much of us. Usually he has these very sexy women or handsomely built, muscle-bound men on the cover. And then suddenly he puts these two old goats, Jimmy and I. If I faint, everybody, it's not that I drop dead. It's I'm falling asleep.
So then Sunday, you guys, Soho Johnny took us as one of his guests to the
I'll do
Festa Italiana, it was called.
Una Festa Italiano. And everybody there was Napolitan, Sicilian, and mostly Southern Italian people. When I walked in, I was greeted by the wise guys. They really flipped out, and I flipped out for them.
You guys remember they were on our show. I know, but they don't know who they are. You got to tell them who they are.
You know what? This microphone is going to go right
Just
between.
tell them who they
I'm going
are.
to give you black and blues all over
You have
your
to tell
head
them who they
and
are.
face.
Tell them who they are.
No, first I want to hit you with this mic, black and blue. I want to see big black and
Yes,
blue.
Teresa, Festa Italiana.
I want to see big black and blues all over your face.
Tell them.
No, you have to look like an eggplant.
Here, I'll tell them.
No, you're not going to tell them.
Because I got all the people
I'll
that were
put
there.
that phone right down your throat.
Okay, go.
I hate him. Why is he on my show?
Yeah.
Anyway, the wise guys who I think are the best, the real Guido guys, tough guys. And they greeted me with such a reverence and hugging me and said, "Oh, Ron, I'm so happy you came." Blah, 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 blah. They were on our show not too long ago, and I was on their show. And they're on their radio. And one of the fellas said to me while we were eating, he said, "Ron, what can I do to make our show better?" I said, "Get rid of the radio. Go podcast like Jimmy and I do. Skype." He said, "We should do that, but the other ones don't want to do it." I said, "Just threaten the other ones that you'll have them killed if they don't do it, and they'll do it." So I'm going to see now. If they televise their show, it's going to be a great hit. Great people. Now I meet the mother of one of the fellas, who's a lovely, lovely old Italian lady, beautiful woman. And she said to me, "Oh, the food here is no good. You're going to need that food here. Come on my house. I'm going to give you food. I can make a beautiful pasta for you. I own a bakery." She said, "I give you every one of the pastries for free." And I thought she was adorable. So the love and the warmth of the Italian people made me so happy because I was home. And I remember what that was like growing up in Brooklyn, where everybody opened their doors and said, "Vieni, vieni, mangia, eat qualche cosa. What do you need? You're so skinny. Come over here, eat." You go to an Italian house in Brooklyn, and suddenly they whip out 3-course meals. And that's warm because the Italians, when they cook for you, it's what they're saying is, food, it makes you feel good. And I want you to feel good knowing me. So it really was a wonderful time for me. The music was fabulous. A fella went up there and sang opera, and he sang, oh my God, the songs that he sang, I almost cried
O
from
Sole
them.
Mio or
No, not also. The one that was Ti voglio bene, ti voglio saya, which means I love you, ti voglio bene, I love you good. It's a very famous piece. Da-da-da-da, ti voglio bene. Anyway, it was made water in my eyes because I thought of my family. And then the food came out, and it's a country club under a tent. We were under a beautiful big white tent. And the food wasn't so hot because it's cooked by probably not even Italians in the kitchen. And the zeppole are little lumps of dough thrown in oil, and then they put confectionery.
God, they're good.
Well, they weren't good. To Jimmy, who doesn't know them, good. Tasted like motor oil.
I thought the chicken parmesan was
The
great.
chicken parmesan was soggy, and mushy and way overcooked. The sauce wasn't good. The pasta wasn't. It was edible, but in California, it would have been gourmet. But in New York, in New Jersey, it was considered not good at all.
They were so nice, though, the people, you guys.
Well,
they had a bunch of
Italians.
They had a bunch of performers. Like I said before, Alicia was like the headliner, and she's, she had those songs, All Night Passion, Two Turned On, and Baby Talk, huge #1 hits in the 80s. They had this guy who I didn't know who he was, but all the Italian people, everybody knew who he was. His name's Biagio, and he was fun. He had like his daughters dancing, and they were beautiful. They had Joe Causey hosted it. I guess he's a famous, a real famous radio DJ there.
And by the way, these people are not Italians. They're Italian American. They were all born in America of Italian descent.
Yeah, it was fabulous. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time.
I had a ball because it brought me home. It's at that point that I said, "Oh my God, why am I out in California? Why aren't I back here with these people who make me feel so happy and so warm?" Well, then I thought about it, and I said, yeah, but they're not in my business. And I have to say and live where my business is, and my business is in California. So as long as I'm working, I'm staying in California. If ever I stop working, I will go back east as fast as my little toes can tiptoe me there.
Absolutely. So it was so much fun. Then we also, then the next day we went walking around, and we met John and Terry are Ron's dearest friends from a long time ago.
Teresa Vecchio and John Vecchio. I know them since we are young people. I remember discussing I had just gotten married, and Terry and John were asking me all kinds of questions about my marriage and our wedding, and we were discussing weddings. And then Terry bought a house out on Long Island, and we had a house out on Long Island, 2 miles apart. Then we had our daughter Leslie, and they had their son John. So we were friends with children. Now our children are grown-up people, and our friendship continues. We fight, we kill each other, we yell, we scream, we don't talk to each other for a few weeks, and then we talked like it never happened. Real friends you don't lose. Real friends stick with you forever, no matter what. Even if you're crazy, they stick with you.
So we took pictures in front of the public library where they did the Sex and the City stuff.
Right.
And then we went to Grand Central Station and took a picture in front of the escalator that Ron shot that kind of woman on.
1915. I said to Jimmy, take a picture of me right by the escalator that Tab Hunter and I went up when we were filming that kind of woman with Sophia Loren in 1959. And I thought to myself, Ron, you were 19 years old when you went up this escalator, and now you're 81 years old. Where the frig did it go? Oh my God, it went so quickly.
Then we, from there, I had a meeting and we went to a business meeting. And then after that, we met Terry and John and we went to Tavern on the Green and had lunch.
Which is all done over. You know, for a while there, it was like it lost its value and they had busloads of tourists coming in and it was like crappy. Well, they got rid of that, new owners, and now they brought it back to one of the most sophisticated, elegant places to lunch in New York City. And we ate out in the garden. The Crystal Room, of course, no longer has those beautiful multicolored crystal chandeliers or the fabulous fabric on the chairs. They've ruined it by making it very mid-century, which doesn't work because Tavern on the Green is not a mid-century building. But the garden is lovely with the lights and the plants. No, it's really a lovely place to have lunch.
It was great. We loved it.
Not cheap, but worth it.
Then we went walking around Central Park. And then as we were walking out of Central Park, I took a picture. It's called the Dakota, right?
The Dakota is where Lauren Bacall lived and my buddy Peter Allen, and where John Lennon was shot, unfortunately.
And also they filmed Rosemary's Baby.
Yes, they did.
The movie Rosemary's Baby, the original one.
That's what they did there.
It was super, super nice. And then we didn't want to end the night, so then we drove down to Little Italy and had pizza in Little Italy.
Which was the most depressing thing for me in the world. I remember Little Italy when friends of ours owned restaurants down there. Mary Puglio and her husband owned Puglio's restaurant, which was one of the best Italian restaurants down there. They're all gone. They're all, passed away. Asians took over all of Little Italy now. There's only 2 blocks of what's Italian, and it's not really Italian anymore. We ate food. It was horrible. The chefs are no longer Italian. They've all left those restaurants. Now they're other people, and their cooking is not real Italian like it used to be. So Little Italy has lost its value. Most of the things that I found in New York that I remembered are gone. And that's why when people say to me, did you enjoy New York? I say, well, not really, because it's not my New York anymore. My New York is long gone and the people in it have left or have died. So New York City is a new city of new immigrants, new ways, new food, new language, new custom. And I'm just not a part of it because I'm from the old school. So I will work in New York, do benefits or whatever it is, but I'm never going to move there because it doesn't belong to me anymore. All young people. There's hardly any old people left in New York City. Upper East Side, maybe. But
anyway,
that's it. It's millions of all the young guys are good-looking young guys. They're all gym bunnies or whatever. They all have nice bodies because they go to the gym, and the same thing with the women, the girls. Everybody's very skinny and very fit in New York City, and they walk. And Jimmy and I walked. My wristwatch went off, my Fitbit. It went off and exploded. It said 10,000 miles and
10,000 steps.
10,000 steps. And rockets went up in the air. First time that ever happened, because in California, we drive, we don't walk.
So what we're going to do real quick, you guys. So you guys know Twism White Piece wrote the Jimmy and Ron song. I don't think, because we were never allowed to play it, that we've ever played the whole song. But so we're going to actually play the music video for it now that we get to play music and videos. And so far, nobody's shut us down. So we're going to be reincorporating music and videos of the guests and stuff coming on the show again, which I think is going to be terrific. But we've never done the Jimmy and Ron song, so Roxy's going to play it for us.
I think we should open the show with it. Let us know what you think.
And so here it is, everybody. The Jimmy and Ron song, written and performed by Twism White Piece, which we thank him so much for it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here you go.
It's cute. It's cute. And thank you, Twiz.
Somebody can turn out to be so wrong.
Yeah, we in we in the mix, it's another episode. Here we go, the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. One heck of a way to go and spend some time. Jimmy voted top 5 on the list of radio hosts at this present time. Topping the top 100 on the iHeart charts. Making news on the Apple News. Dropping podcasts out on iTunes. You can even go and listen out on Audio Bloom. So come about your gloom, you'll be glad that you do. Start whistling a tune when you spend the afternoon with the Jimmy and Ron. As soon as they come on, you will know by the song. Let's go to Jimmy and Ron song. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Hey yo, you can never go wrong. Catch the newest episode, the son. And did you hear the celebrity gossip that Ron Russell got the inside scoop on? Man, the show got everything. So many guests that impressed, from saxophone players to scary movie stars dressed in their best dress. Red carpet rollouts, Jimmy Star brand on the chest. So take the pic, quick flash a grin, make the camera click again. And if you missed anything and need to go and catch up, hit the website JimmyStarWorld.com and go and get your read up. Oh, yeah. Man, you're listening to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. You dig?
The Jimmy and Ron song by Twiz and White Piece, I freaking love it. Everybody in the chat room loved it. It's just fun.
And the video was I was dancing with Cece Peniston. Finally,
oh yeah, if you guys are wondering who that is in there, yeah, that's Cece Peniston.
She's coming here next week, I think.
2 weeks.
2 weeks for dinner because she's appearing here in Palm Springs. So we're having her over for dinner, and there'll be more pictures and more fun with Cece because we love her a lot. She's another great personality and a sweetheart of a person.
We'll also have some new, more pictures from the weekend, you guys. We haven't put them all up yet because I just got sent some of them.
You know, it's been we did not, please, we were going to bed 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up early. Jimmy would work, we'd go, we'd walk, we went to Macy's. I had to go shopping naturally, bought a lot of nice stuff on sale. Then we walked for lunch. I kept looking for pancakes. I said, where the frig? There's no place for pancakes in New York anymore. You know, years ago, there used to be diners. I loved the Greek diners. The Greek diner, you go in, you could get anything you wanted. And then I looked for Chinese restaurant. We had to go to Chinatown. There are no Chinese restaurants in New York City. I mean, what all the people eat gyros and tacos. That shit, it's all full of grease.
It's also changed a lot. Like we went to a diner on Sunday night for dinner, and dinner for two at the diner. It was like $80 at a diner.
Yeah, I mean the price. No, the price is in New York. Rob a bank before you go. I mean, New York is extremely expensive. 2 cups of coffee and 2 pastries were $28.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're getting crazy there, but they're trying to make money because of COVID. You know, being shut down so long, they need money, and they're really, really, you know, asking a lot of money from people. So to eat there, we spent a fortune in food, and none of it was good.
The food sucked.
And, you know, New York was famous for its food years ago, and I'm sorry to say not now. Okay, if you go uptown to a couple of the great restaurants, you know, Cote Boss and things like that, but they're $200-300 a person. And a little bit of food, and I was hungry. So I don't think that there's great food in California, and I don't think there's great food in New York anymore. Long Island, Brooklyn, of course, and the Bronx has the best of everything, the best food. the boroughs of New York, but actual city of New York. Well,
We wanted good pizza. So the pizza that we had sucked.
I wanted Ray's Pizza, and they said Ray's Pizza was sold, and now it's like pizza, taco pizzas or something. They make it. It's like they put taco stuff on a pizza. I said, no, I want like old-fashioned Italian pizza. I don't want Mexican pizza. But
And then we wanted Chinese food, but we didn't want to eat the Chinese food in Chinatown because it didn't look so.
No, that was
so
that
good.
was stupid thinking when they said they eat cats and dogs. That's nonsense. Chinatown always was a little skeevy looking, but the restaurants are just as dirty as any other restaurant in New York, or just as clean. Cockroaches are all over L.A. and New York. I mean, you can't. The cockroaches in New York are just they're there. Rats are there also, especially with the subway being flooded. All the rats came up from the subway and they were running wild in the streets. So yeah, you got to watch out that you don't eat rat crap or roaches. So it's not eat home. I do. I cook. I know what I'm eating. I know what I'm using. I mean, like some of the food they use motor oil. It tasted like my mouth was greasy for hours. But in spite of all the changes that New York has made, and not necessarily for the better, but it's changed. It's still a beautiful city to see. And if you override the crap that I just talked about and go to the museums, they're fabulous, or opera or the theater. Theater's still wonderful. And
It was Fashion Week while we were there.
Yeah.
The Met Gala was going on. I would have, if I didn't want to be seen as a tourist, I would have loved to go seeing everybody like coming in for the Met Gala.
And a friend of mine said, would you move back to New York? I said, yes. If I lived on Park Avenue and maybe 80th Street, and if I had a chauffeured limousine, and if the limousine picked me up and took me to all the most expensive restaurants and to shop at Ralph Lauren and all the Versace and Dolce & Gabbana on Madison Avenue, and at night, if I could go to theater or the opera or the ballet and have dress up, yeah, sure. Who the hell wouldn't live in New York? But if I have to go to New York and ride a subway, walk in the street, jump in urine puddles, nah. I'll stay in California.
Visit once in a while.
Visit. I like California. It's funny. When I'm here, I want to be there. When I'm there, I want to be here. Did you guys ever have that feeling? Yeah, you don't know where you want to be, so you go to both. But
Right.
I love New York. It's my hometown, and I always will love New York.
I want to thank everybody too who came in on all my live streams, because I did a whole bunch of live streams, and a lot of the people in the chat room, B. Claudia and Teresa and Dawn Hinton, who's not there. Hi, Dawn. She's having like a procedure done today, so hope
She's
everything
getting a
is good.
shot. What kind of a
Some
shot?
kind of a shot for her neck, because she's got a
Yeah, I
broken
know.
neck or
She
something.
wrote me this morning. She said, today I get my shot in my neck.
And
I wanted to say, I give Jimmy a shot in the face every morning.
Yeah.
Because he annoys me.
But I want to thank everybody who who was live part of the live stream. It really was a lot of fun, and it's the first time I've ever done it for such a long time, so everybody could see what was going on. And I want to thank everybody who watched all the videos, because I got like 500,000 plays over the time we were gone on my Instagram.
And I want to reiterate, I am not mean to Jimmy, for real. We do it for fun on the show. If you knew how well I take care of Jimmy, you wouldn't believe it. I cook for him.
She also told you, though, you got to remember, she said that she thought you were mean at the beginning, and then as the show went on, she thought you were funny as hell, and it was terrific.
I know that, but I don't want anyone to get the impression that
They
I'm
wanted
mean.
to show the watch, so when Dawn watches this, she'll
Oh,
see it.
No, honey, Dawn, this is my Stay Alive watch. It's my Fitbit.
Fitbit.
Fitbit, the fuck ever it's called. I wear it now because I check my heart rate. I just found out, I was in Central Park, and there were 3 or 4 women doing exercises. So I went in and I started exercising. You could do this in New York, people don't care. And I began exercising with them. And then I
less
said
than a minute.
Huh?
You have less than a minute,
Oh,
so
I
tell it
can't.
quick.
Anyway, I told this lady that I had a triple. She said she had a triple, and it takes 2 years before it heals. And I thought, oh my God. But I did speak to everybody in the street.
They
Jimmy
loved
will
him.
tell you. And I'm old New York. I spoke conversations with everybody, and they were so friendly, and they loved it. We were down in Ferrara's pastry shop in the Little Italy, and there was this young fella, nicely dressed. Jimmy said he had $300 sneakers on, and I guess he was trying to hit on the old gay man. He said to me, "Oh, I'm homeless. Could you buy me pizza?" I said, go to Macy's. They're hiring. Look at you. You're young. Go to get a job. You won't be homeless anymore. I said, I'm not homeless. Why? Because I work. Smarten up. Get a fucking job. And he just gave me a dirty look, like I said bad things to him. Anyway, that's New York. That's today. The world is crazy, but we're in it and we love it and we got to make the best of it.
So we want to
wait a minute. We think positively. We don't do any silly stuff like suicide. That's just shit we don't do. And we just we roll with the punches, kids, because it's called life.
We want to thank everybody.
And life is wonderful. Don't give it away.
We got to thank everybody in the chat room. Thank our guest, David Chokachi. Thanks, Barry, for setting it up. We want to thank our new engineer, Roxy. She's so wonderful. We love her to death.
Yes.
So you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. And I'll see you on social media. Bye, Pat, Goddess, Cindy, Teresa, B,
and
everybody in the chat room.
And I'll be back.
Angela.
I'll be back to my crazy self next week when I'm rested and I've slept.
Backpack John. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
see you next week.
Bye. Woo.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.